There's this guy, Marc Lamont Hill, and Chris, you had a rather spectacular incident with this guy. So he's a big progressive lefty. He's got a show on some network or something. I want to throw to this clip of you on his show. And the reason I'm doing this on our 4th of July show is because your defense of what really is American in the face of sort of the accusations of racism is just absolutely perfect.
Name something positive that you like about being white.
Well, sure. I'll answer with a thing. There's a lot of documents that are floating around public schools that say things like timeliness, showing up on time, is a white supremacist value or a white dominant value. Things like rationality, things like the Enlightenment, things like objectivity, and these are very strange things to be ascribed to a racial identity. My view is that these are actually should be ascribed to every individual human being. Every individual human being, regardless of whatever racial category we impose on them, has
Christopher,
the
that doesn't answer the question, though. You're telling me you're making straw men about things that are ascribed to whiteness that you think are wrongfully ascribed to whiteness. I'm saying if whiteness isn't a negative thing, and there's something that that whiteness actually shouldn't be constructed as all negative, name something positive that you believe is positive about being white.
Again, I don't buy into the framework that the world can be reduced into these metaphysical categories of whiteness and blackness. I think that's wrong. I think we should look at people as individuals. I think we should celebrate different people's accomplishments. I think of myself as an individual human being with my own capabilities, and I would hope that we could both judge each other as individuals and come to common values on that basis.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Chris, I often say on this show that when you hear something true these days, it's just so refreshing because everything is just such layered nonsense all the time. But that clip, imagine if you had said the reverse to him. And that's what I think people are fed up with and have had enough with. America, individualism, it's pretty good, right?
That's right. And I think the bait and that he was trying to lay for me was for me to buy into the same framework that maybe he has bought into, reducing people to racial categories, pitting them against one another in this kind of eternal conflict. And look, that's how the world worked for most of its history. And it's actually a magical thing that we've been able to transcend it as much as we have. I think we still have a way to go. We need to kind of depolarize and rise above some of these divisions in this country. But I think we can do it. And I think that we have done it. And we shouldn't let people like Marc Lamont Hill drag us back down. And whoever you are, if you are black, white, Asian, Latino, straight, gay, let's start to treat each other equally and respectfully and give each other a sense of dignity as individuals. Because what we learned in the 20th century, just like the centuries before, is that when you provide people with totalizing identity categories, things can get very ugly and very destructive in a very quick manner.
Yeah, I would say we don't have very far to go, actually. We just have to start ignoring these people. I think we all got there, and then they unearthed it again. We don't really have to do much on that. Josh, you're in Miami, as I am in Miami. We live in one of the most multicultural cities in the United States. I hear as much Spanish as English. I've got a couple Honduran guys working in my kitchen right now. Nobody cares who's gay. Nobody cares what language you speak as long as you can figure out a way to communicate with each other. It's all good here in America. These are the guys who are bringing it all back.
Yeah, it's funny. Oliver Weissman, who's an editor of The Spectator, he had an essay in City Journal, Chris's publication, a few months ago. It was about the city of Miami, and the title of the essay was "The Least Woke City in America." It's a very interesting essay. I would encourage the viewers to go ahead and check it out. And what he basically says, Dave, is kind of what you said here, is that I view what's happening here in Miami, what's happening here in our backyard, what's happening here kind of in Florida, perhaps to go a little further in general. It really is ground zero of a broader American realignment. And what you are increasingly seeing is Hispanics, to a slightly lesser extent blacks, but really kind of just working class, middle income people all across the country who have just totally had it with the woke nonsense. They have just totally had it with the imperious, moralistic, high-handed nature of our purported would-be woke superiors who refuse to countenance the possibility that their opinion might not be gospel truth or Moses descending from Sinai with the tablets. I mean, it is really not that difficult to understand here, but you're really seeing it play out, to your point, right here in Miami. I mean, I live walking distance from Little Havana. I mean, you walk over there, you see MAGA, Trump 2020, Trump 1 signs literally everywhere you go. Joe Biden stuff, nowhere to be found. You will see a lot of Let's Go Brandon stuff, though.
There is a lot of Let's Go Brandon stuff here floating around in Florida, and our governor does refer to him as Brandon.